this is Coach Brian from Cause Events, and this is Coach's Corner. Today we're going to be working on some physical therapy exercises for everybody to do. I'm here joined by Claudia, Rojas, Herrera, and we're going to be going over some things that you can do to strengthen yourself, things that you can do to help prevent injuries, so you have a much more pain-free running career triathlon career. This is mostly aimed at triathletes, but we're all runners if we're going to be doing these things. And we're going to be focusing on the run, the bike, and the swim, but today we're focusing on the run. And we're going to be doing a series of these, and so this is part one, and I hope that you guys can get some really good instruction out of it. But the one thing I want to remind you is like and subscribe, and even ring the bell, and so you're notified when new updates come out, all right? So Claudia, what have you got for us today?
Okay, as you know, I've been a physical therapist for 25 years and a triathlete for 25 years. So that's been my expertise, for a lot of people. Part of courses that I give to other providers and I teach, it's about this. So today, like you said, we'll talk about running, injuries, and how to prevent them, right? There's many things that we can change, some things that we cannot, but compensate for those. So today we're going to talk about structural changes or things that we have, right? Okay. So some people have high arches, flat foot, right? Some people, very few have normal,
everybody's foot is different.
Yeah. And we're going to talk also about some people have their knees in or out. We call it valgus or varus, right? Incidentally, the best runners have both legs, right? So if you're one of those, don't worry about it. That's a bonus, right? Because biomechanically, you're taking your legs to the midline, so that's cool. But if you have valgus, your knees knocking in, we're going to do some exercise to compensate for that. And finally, we're going to talk about scoliosis, which is the curve of your spine. You should have a straight spine, but if it's a little curve, right, like this, I'm going to exaggerate, right, you're going to have some issues when the foot hits the ground all the time, right, causing any type of problems from sciatica to hip to knee, whatever problems. So we're going to talk about some exercises to prevent or compensate for those structural changes.
Great. So we're going to look at first.
Okay, the first one is what we call the high and low arch. So like I mentioned, if you cannot control for that, the best advice, I'm sure you have some videos about how to choose the best footwork.
I haven't gotten to that one yet. So
okay.
That's up and coming.
Okay, but best advice, go to a good running company where they do like a treadmill assessment, something like that, because it's not a one-size-fits-all, right? That's why some people prefer different brands. But the other important aspect, is that orthotics, right? There's many orthotics in the market, some custom-made, some not, different prices. What I've seen in 25 years is people don't like the ones that are rigid. So you want something, whatever brand you get, you want something that is rigid in the midfoot, but the forefoot is flexible. So you can just put this in your shoe, remember to take the other sole, and then just break in little by little, right? Okay. So that's the first advice. The other one is to strengthen the muscles. It's good technique. We talk hours about all of that, but a good runner should be like running more in the forefoot or metatarsal heads, right? So then you develop a lot of arch weakness, plantar fasciitis, Achilles tendinopathies, and so many other things. So a good way to strengthen that dome or your arch is doing exercises like crumpling a towel, grabbing little objects with your toes, like marbles or something like that. Or I have this little secret. This is very inexpensive, right? A foam toe separator or divider for pedicure. So if you have especially long runs, just put your toes there, rest at night, like a few minutes. It's going to stretch your interossei muscles from the foot, and then you're going to squeeze it, right? With your feet, with your foot, tiny muscles there. And try it like 5 minutes every day, especially when you're training long runs on the weekends, 8, 10, whatever miles. If your arch feels like it needs a massage, of course, massage with a ball, with a bottle of ice, tennis ball, whatever. But what I see is that a lot of people just like the palliative part, the massage me, give me some relief. But if you don't strengthen your arch, then you're still going to need other issues, things later, right?
Well, you have to work out the muscles you're using. And I know that I've tried running in several different form factors, doing a forefoot strike, doing a midfoot strike, and doing a heel strike. And I found that doing a forefoot strike where my toe hits just a second or two before the midfoot and the heel strike, not staying up on your toes like you would if you're sprinting. And I actually suffered a plantar injury by trying to stay on my toes too much. And we learn half the time, if we don't have medical training like you do, by all the mistakes we make.
Yeah, well, that's what I always recommend, go to a professional that assesses the full chain, A good clinician, when you come with any type of pain, hip, knee, whatever, they're going to ask you not only questions about your present injury, but medical history, and, it's going to do a full functional assessment, from the low back to the hip to the toe, and to find that weak link, right?
Yes.
So other stuff we're going to talk about is the valgus, like I said, people with knees that are too close, right? Or both legs. Those usually don't have issues. Well, maybe some iliotibial band or whatever, but it's mostly the people you see in the marathon.
Oh, I've seen so many people that run, and it's like their knees are pointing to each other. I'm like, that's the weirdest structure.
Well, there's structural and functional. What that means is that some of us, we were just born that way or developed that way, right? And that's how you walk, and there's nothing you can do about it but strengthen the opposite muscles that are going to get your alignment more in place. Some of it is functional. So what I mean is that maybe you look normal. First mile, 5 miles. After mile 10, you start having that weak,
start breaking down,
stride, right, or something like that. So this exercise is going to prevent that. Again, we don't care how you look in a race, but we want you to be pain-free in a race, right?
Exactly.
So all you need to do, we call hip abduction or hip openers. You can do weights, just step back, weights or rubber band. I think it's the best option. Sometimes for people that are working in an office like me, I'm sitting and standing a lot in my desk, and I'm training for something. If I'm standing on my desk, I do some hip openers. You can combine single leg balance exercises, right? And remember, always try to compare your right with your left. Don't compare you with somebody else. Compare your right with your left to see if you have the same endurance, because these are the muscles that give you postural endurance, meaning that after a mile, whatever it is, when you start breaking down, pains come, you start looking funny. If you have these guys, they're going to help you. If you don't have them, you just need to take a break and stretch. That's still a good idea, but if you have muscles that are going to help you, that's even better, all right? You can do also like sidewalks, right? So anything that you can do to work these muscles, and always try to improve within a week, meaning like, let's say today I just do this distance 3 times, and then after that my glutes are like firing and it's too much for me, but maybe in a week I can do 4 or 5 laps, right?
Oh, yeah.
So don't go crazy, but don't baby yourself. If you don't challenge yourself, you don't have improvements.
Yeah, I've always been told if you feel the burn, you've done something, but don't take it past too far into the burn where you start to feel weak and your form starts to break down.
Yeah, you're right.
And that's the rule that I've always gone, is only do an exercise until you start to fail at form. When you start to fail at form, that's when you're starting to compensate.
You're right. And then that's part of the goal with these exercises. You have more, I always tell my patients, you have more available muscles for you in the run. As you can tell, running takes most of these muscles, right? Your hip flexors, your quadriceps, your calf, right?
Yeah.
But if we work the glutes, those are the ones that propel you, right? And you can start seeing people as we age, as we have more arthritis and whatnot, and we get tired, people start them running like this, right? Or they don't have a long stride, or they're not bouncing with their hamstrings, right? So again, working on your glutes, your hamstrings is a good idea for that. With a ball, leg curls, whatever you can.
Yeah, okay, great. Yeah, I know that when I go into the gym, I have my routines that I work through during the whole week. And I will do leg curls once a week. I will do hamstrings once a week. I'm not going over there every day and doing the same thing. I'm going in the gym every day during the week, but I'm only working on one muscle group once a week.
It's better. Yeah, it's good to do at least twice a week.
Okay.
And it doesn't have to take you like hours, you know. It could be like 20 minutes. Usually, sometimes after I do my bike rides, I do like, or runs, I do like a 10-minute, you know, functional strengthening exercises. So that's a good advice too, because I know a lot of athletes that just put a lot of miles, which is good. But if you don't have the muscles to do the job, you're just going to break them. Right?
Okay, yeah.
The last thing I wanted to show you was scoliosis, right?
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned you had scoliosis already. So usually, you know, yeah, we can see here. Can you step back a little bit so we can show? Around middle school, that's when people in elementary school, they get screened for this. Instead of having a straight curve, sometimes we'll have like a C or like an S. So let me see, Brian, I'm going to ask you to slowly bend your neck and then your trunk. And then as you can see, I see the shoulder blades this higher than the right.
Well, I've also got a shoulder injury.
No, but that's, that means that there's some rotation too from the spine. And then you have a hump here on the right? Okay, and then it goes straight. So go up, please. So I can see that you have an compensated scoliosis, meaning like it turns this way first and then this way, right? Mm-hmm. Swimming is the best exercise you can do for it, right? But I'm going to show you some dry exercise that you can also do.
Oh, okay.
Because as we were talking, this affects also other lower parts, right? So if you end up putting more pressure on one limb, you can have more injuries that are like, again, from sciatic to heel injuries, fractures, anything, right? So let me just grab them out so I can show you, all right?
Okay.
You're going to recognize some of these exercises from yoga, because they borrowed from us, from PT, or PT borrowed from them, but anyways, it's all good. So you're going to get on your hands and knees, and I always joke there is no cats or dogs with scoliosis or back issues, right? Because that's a good way to unload all your spine, right? Especially from all that pounding. So the first one is a cat camel. You know, you're going to bend and arch maybe 10 times. The goal is to move segmentally each vertebra. And the goal is that if arching too much is painful, don't go that far, especially for lumbar problems. If bending too much is painful, well, don't force it either, right? But most of us will have a lot of stiffness in the thoracic spine too, so work your way out. Then you're going to get into a neutral position, and you can also try the arm and leg lift, right? Which you squeeze your belly for balance and reach not high but far, and hold like 3 seconds, and you can hold the other side, 1, 2, 3, and combine, right? You can do 10 of these to start with, and then move to 20 seconds, 30 seconds, or 1 minute to work again on what we call postural endurance, right? Which is what you want to have, like we were talking. Sometimes runners, when they're getting tired, they start running like this. And I know some people from the tri club that I see, I'm not going to say names, that I've seen them, you know, in a half Ironman or something, and then, you know, you lose your form again. It results in injuries. The third exercise is let me just move it this way. Is the prayer stretch. So actually, we'll have you do this one. Okay. Because of your scoliosis. So you can sit on your heels.
Like this?
Yeah, and then stretch down. And that's a good stretch for all the spine, like you corrected everything right now. And now move your hands to the right, please. How does that feel?
That's nice. It doesn't feel strained or anything.
And now you can go to the other side.
Now that's definitely a lot tighter.
So what I would say with a compensated spine scoliosis is that one side is going to benefit on this tilt, and then the other side is going to benefit on the other tilt, right? You can move to the other side. Again, because this is a stretch, you want to hold it like 10 seconds, and just favor the side that feels the most stretch, all right? Do you do them once in a while?
I do them every now and then. Well, and, you know, it really helped going to a yoga class, and I really miss my yoga class, because it was the one thing that really helped in my running career to improve my form. That doing the different stretches and the various poses made a big difference.
Yeah, I agree. So, that's another good recommendation. I try to do yoga at least once a week. When I was 20, I said, oh, that's for other people. But I think, like, as we age, you want to incorporate things that are going to give you balance, good body awareness, stability, and strength. And yoga is very good to, incorporate in a training program. All right? So I hope those ideas help you. For structural changes of your feet, good orthotics, shoes, and strengthen their arch. For your knees, strengthen your hip. All your glute muscles and hamstrings are important, but especially the glute medius, the openers. And then you have scoliosis, right? Check that you don't need a lift or something like that. And besides swimming, do these exercises so you have a long life as a triathlete. Right. So like I mentioned, there's so many risk factors that contribute to injuries in runners. These are just the structural ones, right? So in the next session, we're going to talk about functional movements. Movements that if we practice them, they're going to make us a better runner. And if we don't have them dialed in, we're going to have poor form and injuries. All right?
Okay, great. Well, again, thanks for watching this session. We're going to have another one coming up soon, so be ready to take that one in when we're ready. All right? So, Coach Brian here, Claudia here, and we'll see you next time. All right?
Have a good one.
Bye.